Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening. Good evening. God bless. Much love. As you guys know, it is always open panel here every night. Open panel. Anyone that would like to come upon panel is always welcome. I just want everyone to know that. Um, this is not a me channel, it's a we channel. So, oh wow, Pam, number one. Yes, there you go, girl. There you go. I'm bringing you up, Sassy Frets. How you doing, Lisa?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Pam, number one in here tonight. Number one. All right. And Karen, number two. Yes. God bless. Oh, and you were number three, girl. Hello, PG in chat. There you
Yep.
go. Number three. And number four was H.A. He says, hi, PG. I'm new here. A, welcome. God bless. God bless. Much love. Uh, how you doing, Mississippi Mud Pie? How you doing tonight? Let me get down through here and say my hellos, hellos, hellos. Hey, good gravy. I like that. That's cute. Do you think Candace has a type? Any guy who has a fishing? Yeah, that's about it. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Right? Hey, spread the love. Good to see you. Obsessed Minds. Good to see you in here. God bless. Our bucket list has holes. JPL, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, Brenda, Robin, D. Good to see everybody. Florida girl. Oh, that's beautiful. Bucket list has holes. That's beautiful. Absolutely. I'm riding solo. How you doing? I'm getting down here to the bottom, y'all. Uh, hey Kate, how you doing, sweetie? I'm Miss Justice 111. And there is Lemon. How you doing, sweetie? God bless. Good to see everyone. Good to see everybody in here. Yeah, it's been brought to my understandings that cancel list. Can't. I'm gonna get right to it tonight, you guys. Um, any details on the street? Well, there's a lot of details for sure. Um, Day Day and Jinkies had it out pretty good last night, right? Um, Day Day was live streaming her. She's live streaming Day Day. They really went at it, and I guess both of them end up taking down their videos. Um, so yeah, it was getting pretty. But earlier yesterday, Day Day was having some issues with Jinkies over there as well, um, and Sherry and them. Let us keep the prayers going up for Sherry. She has lost her sister, and we all know how much it hurts to lose a loved one. Matter of fact, we all just lost Allie, right? We all just lost Allie, a beautiful human that was out here in the community. And I truly believe she was. I truly believe she was trying to do what she, what was within her power um, for Summer. You know, she gave us a real insight on who Summer was, and a lot of good things about Summer. So, you know, um, so we know what it's like to lose people we care about, we love, that we've been around for a while, and we will greatly miss. So keep the prayers going up for Sherry, um, where her sister is concerned, and the rest of the family who have lost someone as well. And you know, I'd like to ask for prayer for Day Day. She's been going through a lot of pain. To my understanding, she's got some medical issues going on that's putting her in a lot of discomfort. So let us pray. Let us pray for her. Um, you know, she's a part of our community. She's been a part of our community. I know we've all had our issues out here, but sometimes we got to put things aside. We got to put all that aside and do what's righteous in the sight of God. And we all know if something was going on in our life that we wanted and needed prayer for, we sure hope that everybody's praying, right? We sure hope that everybody's praying. So let us be the people we want others to be. And to be honest, you know, I truly believe that I truly believe that Day Day wants Summer found. I think she wants Summer found, and justice served just as much as anyone else does. I truly believe that. So let us pray and come together as a community out here for these children. If possible, let us get everyone on board, not someone, but everyone on board. I hope at some point that White Boy changes his way and gets on board with the rest of us in finding these missing children and doing all we can for the missing children. You know, I pray that Benny gets back into you know truly wanting these children found and so forth and so on. Um, I just hope that this community, the true crime community out here, I hope that each one wakes up and realizes that we're here for one thing and one thing only, and that is these missing children, right? To seek them, to find them, to get justice for them, to be a voice for them. It's not about, you know, any suspects or anyone else. It's about the missing children. So I pray that we can all come together as one out here for these missing kids. God answers prayers a lot better when you got love going on instead of hate. So that's just, that's my take on it. And I hope that everyone can come together. This life is too short, man. It's too short for all this hatred. It's too short for, you know, it's just too short for all of this, for real. I mean, when people leave this world, you wish you would have been a lot kinder. Well, if you're going to wish you'd have been a lot kinder when they're gone, why don't we be that while they're here? Why can't we be that while they're here? Let us have no regrets. Be the person you wished you would have been now instead of, regretting it later. That's what I'm saying. And you know, and if you do that, you'll find that your life is a lot more blessed anyway, right? When you're always a good person, God blesses you. So, I don't want to miss no blessings. That's for sure. I can't afford to miss no blessings. That's that's just the way it is. Um anyway, you know, it's the creators the creators shouldn't be going at each other anyway. And it shouldn't be one group against another group or any of this and that, because we should all be here for the same reason. And I truly believe we are. Um, the people who we should be exposing out here is not one another. The people we should be exposing out here are the people that, possibly done something sinister to one of the victims in all of this. Those are the people we need to be exposing. Those are the people we need to be talking about. Those are the people that, we should keep our focus on. We shouldn't ever get our focus, off the real issue at hand, and get sidetracked from getting the answers needed for these missing children. That's what I'm saying. So, I'll just keep praying for peace out here, peace and love, and hopefully, it comes a full circle, and at some point that beautifulness is reached. across the board out here where true crime community is concerned. Anyway, now, beside all of that, Don Candus, Grandis, and some other people in that surrounding community, they are not victims, they are suspects. It's a matter of fact, number one suspects for Don, Candus, and Grandis, to my knowledge. So, with that being said, these are the people who need to be in the spotlight. These are the people that we need to focus on. These are the people that we need, to figure out indeed what exactly happened June 15th, 2021 to this 5-year-old little girl. That is where our focus should be. Nothing more, nothing less. Right? And I'm going to try to keep it there. I have Lisa upon panel, and people like Lisa are character witnesses. They're character witnesses to the type of humans that Don and Candus Wells are. You must understand. You got to face the truth, and you must understand who the Wells are in order to understand what possibly happened to Summer June 15th, 2021. You need to know the mind frames of these main suspects, because, in my opinion, yeah, Don, Candus, and Grandis are guilty, in my opinion. Absolutely. And yes, I think the more we learn to understand them, the better chance we have to understand where Summer possibly might be. So, Lisa is one of the people who actually hung around with Candus. She knew Candus. She understands who Candus Wells is. And Don Wells also pretty good. So, and Lisa brought some new information to my attention. And what it's given me is an insight that the Wells have a lot of communication and connection outside of Ben Hill Road. They have, these are people that's got a widespread of different people that they could possibly turn to. A widespread of different people that could and possibly be willing to help them if needed. So, I'm gonna let Lisa move forward and talk about a few things. She's even had contact with Candus, recently, after Summer had come up missing. She has had contact with Candus afterwards as well. Not only by texting and FaceTiming, but also by meeting up with her in person, her and Don both, when they were over in Arkansas. So I'm going to let Lisa give you guys some insight on some new things that, she has told me. All right, Lisa. Here's Donnie and Candus. This is Don and Candus Wells, the two people. If you're new here, these are the two people who have a 5-year-old missing child that they worked harder to keep from being found than they ever have to get their child found, which is highly suspicious. And, one game after another, nothing but pure lies, just BS from day one. And these are the two that we want insight upon, other than Grandis. We'd like to get more insight on her as well. This, you guys, is a new guy that Candus was hooked up with for a while. Go ahead, Lisa. You can explain it.
Okay. Candus lived with this guy for a couple of weeks. Okay. She was homeless. She would live in and out of the woods. But she met up with this guy, and he had let her stay there at his trailer for a couple of weeks. Well, apparently they had this fling thing going on. Candace had been moved out of there and moved in with this girl named Jennifer.
Okay.
She said that she's...
So her and this guy here kind of had a fling thing going on, and she had previously moved into a trailer home with him. And while she was with him, she stayed pretty hayed up, right? She stayed pretty hayed up on substances and alcohol.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And then she finds herself kind of like back out on the street, but instead she moves in with this girlfriend, this girl.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now tell us about the girl that she moved in with.
This girl had 2 babies that were twins. Candace was supposed to have helped take care of these 2 babies and did not help her take care of these 2 babies. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. And and you said that you and a friend went there, and these babies were in pretty bad condition.
Yes, ma'am. These babies not only did not have baths, but they also had mucus in their lungs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
Well, Candace supposedly supposed to be helping this girl take care of these 2 babies, refused to help this girl take care of her 2 babies. So DHS shows up to get these 2 babies.
So once Candace got her foot in the door, she wasn't doing what she promised this girl she would do.
Right.
And both children were pretty sick.
Yes.
And when you and your friend came there, you was telling me that the children were in pretty bad condition. They had something under their neck.
Rings of milk. You know how babies, when they suck their bottles and you don't put a one of those bibs around their necks and they get milk rings around their necks? Right. And they smell really bad, okay? So me and a friend of mine would go over and help this girl take care of her babies and give them baths and stuff like that, which was Candace's job to do. Right. Candace? Mm-hmm.
Go on, girl. Tell her about it. Tell her. So
anyway,
that was
Candace
her job.
Did not help this girl take care of her children like she was supposed to.
Matter of fact, Candace helped the girl get her kids taken away, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The end result was, after Candace came into this girl's life in her home, the girl lost all of her children.
Yes.
And from there, the girl hanging with Candace ended up going to prison and a lot of other things.
Yes.
So Candace came in and didn't help this girl at all. Matter of fact, led her down the wrong path to basically destroyed her life completely.
Yeah.
So it would have been best if this girl wouldn't have ever met Candace in her life to begin with.
Right.
Wow. And then where did Candus go from there?
Where'd Candus go from there? She went back out to the streets.
Oh.
And
And
then once Joe John, she met up with Joe John again. Once Joe John got his apartment.
this is Joe John, right?
No, that's Richard.
Oh, this is Richard. Okay, Joe John.
Yeah.
Joe
Joe
John.
John was the guy that lived in the woods too.
Okay.
But
And
this guy, PG, he would go around the Seven Hills homeless shelter,
okay.
which was a day center, and he would look for Candus. And then there was some days that he would go down there and he'd pick up Candus and take her with him.
And Joe John.
And she would sleep with that guy.
Oh, she sleep with him.
Yeah, she was hooked up with that guy.
And now Joe John, is he the one that ended up in the chair?
Yes, he was the one that the girl found unalived.
Right. With some kind of patches all over him, right? Like
yes, with fentanyl patches on him.
He passed out and someone put all kinds of patches on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he met his demise. Now, is
Yep.
the same one that she had the baby by that was taken away?
Yes.
Okay, so Joe John was. What did Joe John look like? Did he look like?
Had long, stringy looking hair and gross looking.
Did he look more like this guy, or did he look more like Richard?
No, he looked more like the other guy, Keith.
Oh, so
he had
Joe
little stringy looking hair, and Joe John was strung out too.
Okay.
ICU, as a matter of fact, has a picture. Justin might have it now, but ICU had a picture of Joe John.
Okay. Okay. Now I don't have a picture of Joe John. I have a picture of Keith here, and I got a picture of and that's Donald. I got a picture of Richard right here. Now, who was she with first? Who was she with when you? How did you meet Candus?
I met Candus at the Seven Hills.
Okay, and
we were all homeless.
And that's a place for homeless people to eat and get things, right?
Yes.
Okay, and when you met her, which one of these guys was she with at that particular time?
She was with Joe John.
Okay, she was with Joe John at that time, the one that she was pregnant by and ended up giving the baby away. Or she didn't give it away, they took it. Right?
DHS took the baby from her because the baby was born with drugs in its system. And I don't care what Donnie says, okay? Because I know for a fact that DHS took that child. And Donnie was going around telling people that Candus put that baby up for adoption. No, she did not. DHS came in and took that child because she was homeless and that baby was born with drugs in its system.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then, okay. And then at that point, is that when she started going with Keith? Or did she get with Richard after that?
She got with Richard after that.
Okay. And then what happened between her and Richard?
I have no idea.
But she ended up with Keith.
Yeah, she ended up with Keith for a few days.
Okay, a couple weeks in his trailer home, all hayed up. Yep. And then she went from Keith. She went from this stringy haired guy right here, all hayed up, back to Richard, right?
She was with, okay. So she was with Joe John, and then she hooked up with that Keith guy.
Right.
And then somewhere in the mix was some black guy. And then she hooked up with Keith. And then after that, she wasn't with Keith for very long. And then she hooked up with Donnie.
Okay, so then finally, Don Wells comes into the picture.
Yes.
Okay, and that is when she went. Don and actually Pam, Donald's wife, met Candus. She thought she was a young girl needing help. She moves her into her home with other people, and only to find out that Candus behind her back was slipping around with Donald.
Yes.
And
They
so
never came through that hot coffee on Donnie.
and Pam threw hot coffee on Donald,
Yeah,
and
they were out there on the porch making out.
and Pam walked out on him, right?
Yep. And she brought Donnie his coffee. And when she seen Candace and Donnie making out on that porch, Pam threw that hot coffee on Donnie and told him to get the hell out of there and take her with him.
And that's when they left and became homeless for a while.
Yes.
Okay. And they were homeless in Arkansas for a New York Mini, right? They was homeless in Arkansas for a while.
Yeah.
And then
so they left Donnie out of going to the churches and getting all these homeless people and taking them home with him because he couldn't do that anymore.
Oh. Right. So it was Donald's ideal to go to them homeless shelters, get homeless people, and bring them home.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And during the time that they were going to these homeless shelters and getting these people, mostly they looked for young women with children, or
Yes, ma'am.
guys and girls, which they mainly was looking for people that had children.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when they got these people with the children back to their house, these children ended up all getting taken away for SA.
Well, the kids that were living in the shed were Francis and Greg's two kids.
Right.
And I don't know if Donnie knew what was going on with that, but I do know that Pam Wells's niece said that the children were being molested by Greg. Greg had the oldest daughter out there of Francis's trying to mess with that little girl at the trampoline in the middle of the night. And Donnie, you can deny that all you want because you know better. Okay?
So he had full insight on that. That he actually had full insight that there was that kind of behavior going on.
Yeah, I think so, because you know what? Nothing was put a stop to it. Whenever Pam Wells' niece had brought that to Pam's attention,
right?
Pam just blew it off like it was nothing.
Okay, yes, absolutely.
And then all the kids, when the DHS come there to get the kids, they put all the blame on me. No. Camden was taken away from me because I was homeless. Yeah. It wasn't because of Donnie and all of them.
And the other children were removed due to essaying.
Yes.
Okay. But Don was upset that he couldn't continue to seek out homeless women with children to bring to the house.
Well, of course.
And
you should have seen the tents that him and Pam had in their yard, not at that place, but a different place that they lived at. They had tents set up in the yard, and tents set up across the street from where they lived.
And they had all of these.
Just like Jody Sue said, they brought the homeless people home up there in Tennessee,
Right.
and probably put them in tents or in the sheds or wherever they put them at.
Mm-hmm. And they use these people. They use these people for different reasons. I mean, what they did was for self gain. Like Donald would use like the young guys and everything to take the work with him and help get work done and stuff.
Yes.
He would, the children that, the children were, as you said, being essayed. The young girls like Candus, Donald was getting nasty with them. So, I mean, it was like all win-win for Donald, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't like Donnie, so I stayed away from him.
Now, once the hot coffee got spilled, and Donald was ordered to get the hell out of there and take Candus with him, and now they became homeless. Did you have any connection with them after that?
No, I didn't see Candace for a long time until after she had Josie, the oldest one of her and Donnie's kids.
Right. She had Josie, the older boy. Then you saw her again before she left Arkansas?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he was like 6 or 7 months old whenever they left Arkansas.
Okay. And they left Arkansas because pretty much they were staying homeless and hungry.
Right.
Okay. So
I think Donnie was working at that time too, so.
But it doesn't do no good to work when you got a drug habit and your old lady's got one.
Right.
When you have substance abuse problems, it don't do no good to work, right?
Right.
So they were still staying broke and living day to day. And so they were hauled out of there and they headed to Tennessee. Now, what did you think? What was your first opinion? What did you think when you found out years later that him and Candus had a missing 5-year-old daughter? Did it shock you? Did it not shock you?
It did.
Okay.
I was told by Donnie or Pam's daughter-in-law that Donnie and Candus had a missing child. And then somebody had sent me a deal where Donnie was on the news talking about Summer missing. And then I got to watching the case on it. I was like, wow, I know this ain't happening,
Okay.
And I kept thinking, well, where could this child be?
Right.
And then the more I got to watching Donnie up on panel, the more guiltier he looked.
Right.
And the more guiltier he acted.
And you would pretty much know how he acts at different times because you were subject to him. You were around him. You actually seen and had, insight on, who and how and what he is and how he would act at different times.
Yes, Donnie acts very strange at times.
So
he doesn't like to be caught up in his own crazy stuff.
Right. Okay. Lightning Tiger, if you want me to let you up, I gotta see you. Ernie, if that's truly you. Okay, sweetie, I'm letting you up. How you doing, Ernie?
Long time. How are you?
I'm doing good. God bless. Much love to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I heard about the parties and stuff at Don's, and that's what I was going over in my live about some of the parties and stuff that the people that I talked to around their area when they would bring
Right.
kids up. So yeah, I mean, I continue on. This is very, very interesting. I
Hey,
kind of
Ernie. Hey, man,
sure.
I want to tell you, I appreciate you being out here. I appreciate you working for these missing children and doing all you can do to help get them found.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm doing my best. I've got a few hiccups in the works, but hell, you know how that is.
Right, right. Go ahead, Lisa. So
Anyway,
when you heard about it, you were shocked, and
yeah,
but the more you know, the more like everybody else, you're like, oh, I know these people. Maybe I could be a helping hand somehow, and you started, thinking of recontacting or reaching out to be a helping hand. But the more you were watching Don Wells on different people's lives and stuff, the more you started to realize, hey, he ain't telling the truth. He's hiding a lot of shit. He's looking nervous. um
yes, exactly.
so that made you step back away from you know giving that olive branch of kindness, and you was like, oh hell, I truly believe, I know these people, and I truly believe that it is very possible that they had something to do with what. Matter of fact, in your heart you were thinking they did. Whatever happened to this child, the way Don's acting, he's guilty. um
Yes,
in your opinion.
yes, in my opinion, yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So, um, and then, they, you talked to Candace on the phone. Um,
I had
after,
read, well, let me tell you how that started, okay?
okay,
I had been told by several people that Candace said that she was going to go into the woods, and if she found me, that she was going to unalive me.
what?
Okay. Yeah.
What? Oh,
I was
do
told that
tell.
it was in chats, okay? In
Uh-huh.
Daisy's chat. So I searched Daisy's chat. I don't know if the comments were deleted or what. And I don't even know why Candace would even say something like that. I guess because Donnie and Candace were mad whenever I came out with that story that
Oh yeah.
happened with the kids. And I know Donnie had to have been mad. Okay.
Oh, he was, because he came up one night and had tried to attack you. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So go on.
Anyway.
You hear that they're putting threats like this against you,
Yes,
and
I had several people reach out to me and tell me that it
okay.
was in Daisy's chat
Mm-hmm.
that Candace was going to go to the woods and find me and unalive me. Okay.
All right.
So when I found out that Candace and Donnie were in Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
I had reached out to Donnie's ex daughter in law, and I had told her that I had been told that Candace had been looking for me.
Okay.
And whenever I went to Life Source one day, I was looking for a friend of mine, not Donnie and Candace. I was looking for another friend of mine. And I had ran into this lady, and she rudely said, her face was all red PG. She had gotten off the phone. I guess Donnie and Candace had talked to her about going to Life Source or whatever. However, I don't know exactly how that came down. But I was walking out of Life Source. I had my kids with me.
Right.
And as we were leaving, the lady hollered at me, and I turned around to see what she wanted. And she was like, oh, by the way, Donnie and Candace are staying at that motel. What was the name of that motel up there in Springdale? That Roach
Right.
Hotel.
Right. Okay. Yes. Move on.
So I had reached back out to her and I told her, I said, look, I said, I said, if Candus wants to talk to me, then she needs to get a hold of me.
Right.
I said, I'm not living out in the woods or anything like that.
Okay.
And she said, okay. She said that she would tell Candus. Well, I guess it was like a week or two later. It was around Summer's prayer vigil. It was the day before Summer's prayer vigil that me and Beth Ann had contacted her because this crazy lady had posted something to YouTube about Jackie Dobbs whispering something about he murdered her or something like that. And I'd sent the live to Beth Ann and I was like, Beth Ann, I said, how do we deal with this? We need to get a hold of Candus and Donnie. I was concerned about it. And Beth Ann had gotten a hold of Candus somehow. I guess it was on Facebook or something like that.
Okay.
And she had contacted Candus. And a night before I got on the phone with Candus, we were in a 3-way call there.
Okay.
And the very next day, Candus had contacted me, and I was asking Candus about her threatening to unalive me and bury me out in the woods.
Wow.
She said she did not know what I was talking about.
Oh, she's like, of course she's going to say she don't know in case you're recording her.
Yeah.
So, Don and Candus is hip to the recording now. So, okay, go on.
Okay, well, I proceeded to ask her about, because I wanted to hear it from her mouth on what happened to Summer. I didn't want to hear that on YouTube. I wanted to hear from Candus's mouth herself as to what happened to Summer.
Right.
That day that Summer come up missing.
Exactly.
And she told me that she got up that morning. She took Grandis to the hospital. They went swimming. She had contacted Hunter. I guess Hunter went with them. And she told me that Hunter lied.
Oh,
and
what
you
did
can
he
see
lie
in that
about?
video.
What did he lie
Yeah, she
about?
told me that Hunter lied.
Okay, did she tell you what he lied about?
No, she just said that he was lying about that whole situation,
So Candace says that Hunter was lying about the whole situation that day.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's weird because she didn't tell Chris M he was lying. Because Chris asked and she said, oh no, he's not lying. He was just a little mixed up about the, where they went first and where they went second, third, where they went.
Yeah.
He didn't have where they went in order, and she did because she was the one driving. Now,
Right.
And she remembered every step in detail up till she dropped him off. And then somehow she got amnesia.
Right.
From the time she dropped him off until, law enforcement was called. She can't seem to remember that timeline. She remembers the whole morning timeline, step by step, it's branded in her head. But after that, she just can't, now she's got brain fog, right?
Right.
But go on and tell the people what you told me. Now, what she told you, after,
Okay,
after
when they got, she said whenever they got home, her and Summer and the boys helped Grandis carry the groceries in. Summer, she didn't say anything about walking Summer to the door, okay?
Right. Right.
She said that Summer went down into the basement
Right.
to go play with her toys. She said Summer was just gone.
Just gone.
Yeah, just gone.
So Summer goes
And I
into
said,
the house.
Candace, I said, how did they get in there to get Summer? She said she didn't know. I said, well, did they use a credit card or screwdriver or something like that to get in there? And she said, no, that they didn't use any of that. There was several ways to get in that house, she said.
Oh, there's there's a lot of different ways to get into that house, she told you.
Yes.
Now, did she elaborate on the different ways to get into the house?
No.
Okay.
She just said that there were several different ways to get in that house.
So basically, it seemed like she was going out of her way to try to convince you of some bullshit she was trying to put over on you to make you believe what she was trying to say.
Right, but I didn't believe that anyway.
Right. And so what else did she have to say about these things?
That was about it. And then she wanted to meet up with me the very next day to go on the transit, to go over here and have a little prayer vigil for Summer, but she didn't want to record it. Okay.
Okay. And did that come to pass?
No.
Okay. So it didn't
The very
happen.
next day, I called her and asked her where she wanted to meet up with me at. Okay. She said, she looked at Donnie and asked Donnie to go
Oh,
with her. Yeah, to the church.
okay.
And Donnie asked her who she was talking to, and she told him that she was talking to me. He said, well, let me get a shower and get a cup of coffee. He said, and we'll leave and go down there and meet up with her at the church.
Okay. And
She said that she wanted to talk to me about something, okay?
okay.
But whenever she gets to the church, PG, Donnie and Candus get out of the car and they walk up to the table. Donnie's continuously staring at me, and then he walks over there and to the side of the building, and he's talking to this guy named Daryl. Okay.
Okay. And who is Daryl?
Daryl is some guy that we all knew.
Okay. And what does Daryl do? What does Daryl do?
He just sits at
I'm
home
bringing-
all day, I guess.
I'm bringing you up, Andrew. Okay, so we got Daryl. Now, how long did you guys know Daryl?
I've known Daryl for a long time.
And the Wells knew
I
Daryl.
mean, he's a good guy. Daryl's a good guy.
Okay.
And Donnie did ask Daryl if he needed a ride somewhere. Daryl said no.
Okay.
Whenever we left the church, I left the church with Daryl. We walked down to the bus stop, and I was on the phone with Beth Ann,
Okay.
and I was talking to Beth Ann.
Right. Okay. Was Daryl a substance abuse user as well? I mean, in the
No.
past. Okay,
No.
so he's just a guy y'all knew that basically just a good guy.
Yeah, Daryl's a good guy. He doesn't do any drugs or alcohol or anything like that.
Okay. And does he have like a home, or is he homeless too?
He's living with a friend of his.
Okay, so
He had his own home until his ex-wife kicked him out not long ago.
Okay, and then, but he still has a home with someone he knows.
Yeah.
And he just goes and hangs at the old place because he knows a lot of people there and gets to socialize.
Well, I don't know if he goes to the Seven Hills because I don't go down there.
Oh,
But I
okay.
see Daryl every once in a while, you know.
Okay. So where did you guys meet up with Daryl? He wasn't at this. He wasn't at the.
Daryl was at the church. He was already there. He didn't even know anything about it.
Oh, okay, okay. And but Donald asked the guy, "Do you need a ride?"
Right.
Okay.
And the guy told him no, he didn't need a ride.
Did he offer you a ride?
No. I
Okay.
wouldn't get in the car with him anyway.
Exactly.
I ain't stupid. I wouldn't get in that car with him anyway.
Right. So, did you ever find out what Candace wanted to talk to you about?
No. She never would tell me.
All right. So they show up, and you spend more time talking with Donald than you actually do with Candace.
Right.
And
Donald said
Candace,
that he remembered me.
and Candace kind of just stayed
Candace
quiet
kind of stood there.
and really didn't say nothing.
No. And then whenever they got ready to leave, she told me to call her that afternoon. And then whenever Beth Ann tried to reach back out to her, she was like, oh, well, she's laying down. She had a headache. And it was all written out in text message. Beth Ann still has those text messages. And then she was telling Beth Ann, it ain't about Summer.
Oh, okay. Okay. She tells Beth Ann that it isn't about Summer.
Right.
And did Beth Ann say, well, who is it about? I mean, when
I
she
don't think
said
so.
when she said it isn't about Summer, how did you guys take that?
I didn't know what to think. You know, that's why I can't figure out. If they're coming out to YouTube, okay, asking for help to find Summer, if they already know where Summer is and they're not looking for Summer, okay,
Right?
then apparently they already know where she's at, right?
Exactly. And so you think what hit your mind was when they said it's not about Summer, what hit your mind is they're not out here for their daughter, they're out here for self gain, they're out here to get
Right.
support for them.
Right.
Well, it's a guilty conscience is what it is. They already know. And if they was to do a search or something, their guilty conscience and their consciousness is probably going to lead them into a track that's going to actually find Summer. And that's probably why they're staying the hell away from it.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds logical. That does sound logical. Absolutely. So you didn't ever figure out or find out what Candace listen, do you feel it could have been a setup? Do you feel that she possibly wanted to meet up? She was real quiet and wanting to meet up with you because they had something sinister planned and they didn't realize that, you had people around you that was going to watch you, to and fro. You know what I'm saying?
That's why whenever she brought Donnie with her, I knew as soon as she brought Donnie with her, Donnie wanted to know who I was because he had talked me up on your panel. And then whenever Candace was like, oh, well, it's Lisa, he's like, oh, well, let me get a shower and have a cup of coffee and we'll go meet up with her at the church, But I don't think Donnie realized there was people around that church that if they would have tried anything at all, then they would have been arrested right then and there.
Right.
Donnie didn't ask me to get in the car with them and take off with them or anything like that. He
Right.
asked Daryl if he needed a ride somewhere.
Right.
He knew I wouldn't get in the car with him anyway.
Hey, that was a smart move. That was a smart move on your behalf, girl, because it sounded to me like it was a setup. I mean, she didn't, basically she told you she had something she wanted to tell you, confide in you. She shows up, she don't confide nothing. She's just standing
Exactly. She
there.
didn't say nothing.
Yeah, she's standing there looking suspicious as hell and leaving it all up to Donnie, to make the calls. And, and basically, and Donald is pretty, I can say one thing for Donald. He is pretty, coherent and vigilant when it comes to, who's around here, who knows us, who's seen us. What I'm saying is he knew right away. This isn't, if she leaves with us and something goes down, it's going to come back on us. Right.
Right.
I think that they showed up to try to fill you out and see, to see if you were, living in some woods, if you were going to be vulnerable to, possibly not being seen again, maybe, right?
Right.
And because she lied, she had nothing to tell you. She had nothing to tell you at all. So there had to been some other reason, for them to do what they've done.
Right.
And you already heard through the grapevine what they said they were wanting to do.
Right.
Wow, girl, that was a close call.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really close call, if you ask me. I want to ask you, was you intimidated? Was you afraid? I mean, was you watching over your shoulder?
Yeah. I kept a close eye out on Donnie. I know how he is.
So, okay, I wanted to ask you that because if I wanted to get a feel of how you perceive these people before I move forward.
Keep a close eye out. Even though I know Donnie and Candus aren't here.
Right.
I still keep a close eye out. I watch everything. I observe everything that goes on around me.
Because you understand that they got a large network. It's not just them you need to look out for, is what you're telling me, right? That's what you're telling me.
Right.
Well, you can imagine in the interview I did with Don what he said. He knows where to find this type of people at. He knows where to find these child traffickers. He knows where all this goes on. And, he knows exactly where it's at. So, that leads you to, if he's really a good guy, then why not help these children if you know all about what's going on and you know where it's at and you know where it's hidden at, you know how to get to it.
Guy.
So,
Donnie's not a good guy at all.
What's that?
Donnie is not a good guy at all.
No, I know. I mean, people only got to see what he's in the public view. People only get to see when he was brought out and everything. Nobody knows what he done behind closed doors. But I've got 2 or 3 people in Rogersville that used to party with him, and they would talk about bringing kids up there while they was partying because they had nobody else to watch them, and they would catch Don going in the other room with the kids while they was all screwed up. So, I mean, I've got people going to come in on that. I mean, and you verified that anyways. Hell, Jody Sue even verified that. So, I mean, I knew I was right, and I knew when I went in and started looking for people, because doing field interviews, I would find a couple people that, that are within that state. They don't have anything to do with them now, of course, but they're afraid of them. They're afraid of them, and they're afraid of the connections because what Don has.
Yep.
Absolutely. And, as Lisa said, yes, they are very capable. They are very capable of not just making a child disappear, but in her opinion, but also anybody to disappear that gets in the way that, may expose them disappear as well.
PG, I was thinking of all these people that have come up unalived in this case, right?
Absolutely.
Several people.
Yes.
And those were potentially witnesses, and that's why they come up unalived.
In my opinion, you're right. You're right. I find it awful weird that, you have Leslie who came up unalived and, just out of the blue. And then Allie the same way, unalived, out of the blue. Yeah, there's a lot of suspicious shit in this. And then you have another person that ended up unalived in this. Matter of fact, Pam, can you take a link and come up? Because Pam has, Pam's been in this case a long time. And, oftentimes she tells me about a lot of other people, like Cotton, who came up unalived as well. You have
wasn't one of the search people? One of the search people come up unalive too?
And there was another guy that it was that Crawford's boyfriend who came up unalived as well. And there was a girl, a young lady who had came up unalived that actually was trying to save a child at one point, and from some stuff like that. She was actually trying to get the child to safety, and they tried to accuse her of kidnapping for doing it. Yeah. So, you're right. There's a lot of different people, in this case, coming up unalived. I lost you, Lisa. I put a link out for you, girl, to come back. But absolutely, it's sad. It's sad that, I think Lisa came close to being close to becoming a victim in all of this, right? Because they wanted her mouth shut. They didn't like her out here speaking. They didn't want her telling about. See, we had the sisters up in Utah, Mary and her sister and them speaking out about, the essay going on up there with children and so forth, where Don was concerned. And then we had, Jody Sue and other people speaking out about it in Tennessee. And then,
you also know when Summer went missing, Don was caught in another holler or something with another little girl, and he said he was helping this little girl out or something like that. But the mother had came up on somebody's panel and painted a whole new different picture that that Don was a predator, that she was scared, she was afraid. You remember that?
I'm going to tell you, Ernie, I was on the phone with him that particular day. Now, he didn't tell me it was a dead-end street that he was on. He told me that, I said, when I was talking with him, I said, where are you going? He said he was going to talk to some neighbor. And I said, oh, okay. And so he's talking with me and driving. And then the next thing I know, he said, I'm going to turn around and go. He said, oh, crap. I said, what's up? He said, I'm going to turn around, sissy. He said, there's this little kid back here, little girl playing out on the road. I said, what? He said, yeah, I'm going to, because I'm thinking this road isn't a dead end. It's a road.
It would keep on going, but it was a dead end.
Keep on going, you know what I'm saying? Because he didn't tell me what road he was on. He just told me about this child. And he says, I'm going to turn around and go back. I said, yeah, she could get hit out there on that road. child shouldn't be down there playing. So he goes back there, and I hear him. He gets out of the, out of his vehicle, and he goes over and he tells this little girl. He says, "Where's your parents?" And the little girl said something, but I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear what she's saying because she's got this little child's voice, right? So I can't understand exactly what she's saying, but something about a pawpaw or something like that. I don't know if she said grandpa, pawpaw. I don't know what she was saying. And she say, and then house. And then he said, okay. And he goes up through there to the house. And he all of a sudden he's knocking on the door, right? He's like, hello, hello, hello. And I say, go in. He says, there's no answer, sissy. I say, go in. I said, maybe someone's hurt. Maybe, something's wrong. Go in there. And so he goes in. And he says, there's an old man in here asleep. And in a chair. He said, there's an old man in a chair in here asleep. I said, well, wake him up. And he did. And the old man got ugly, right? The old man got ugly. And Don asked him, said, did you know that this little girl's down here playing on the road? And then the old man is like, who are you? And it's getting heated up a little bit. And Don says, I'll call you back in a minute. And I said, okay. So he hangs up. I don't know what conspired after that. The man was pretty upset.
Well, okay, go ahead.
So a few minutes later, he calls me back. He's back, to the vehicle because I could hear him get in. And he said, I said, what happened? And he said that the old man woke up pissed off, being rude and mean. He said he tried to calm him down, explain to him that, his daughter was missing and kids could be took real quick and all of these things. But then I heard him on someone else's live, and he said, okay, Sassy Frets, I'm bringing you up. And I heard him on someone else's live, and he said that he had told the little girl, I'll see you later. And now I didn't hear that because, I wasn't back on the phone with him till after he was down getting into the truck. But I guess as he left, he told this little girl he'd see her later. I'm like, what the hell? Why would you be seeing her later?
Well, it was her mother. What did her mother or something that like
her
a few
mother
days later they got it?
Her mother was there.
She found out about it or something like that?
She found out from the grandfather about the little girl. But, here's my thing. I always thought that Donald actually did that, trying, this is my opinion. This is just my opinion, y'all. I feel that he did that to try to get the focus off of him on what really happened to Summer. I think that,
like he was trying to be a hero.
Right. I think that, no, he was trying to make people think good of him by doing that. And, instead of, I always felt, Bernie, that it was a front. I always felt it was a fucking front.
Well, do you remember, has everybody's listened to the interview that I did with him, right? We got that up now. And when he talks about, it's just what he said. He says, they got rid of the evidence and then they probably killed her, beat the fuck out, and he started, and he said that. You remember that, right?
I do.
Well, here's the thing. You kill someone first, and then you get rid of the evidence. But he automatically says, and if you listen to it beforehand, he talks about sexually, and he pauses himself, and he catches himself, but he's painting a picture. He paints a picture.
I hear YouTube on in the background.
All right, sorry.
I appreciate that, Pam. Yeah, exactly.
Take that photo down.
I heard him say that as well. And here's my thing. What you don't understand is no dad of a truly missing child, someone that doesn't have no idea what happened to their child, could not say the disgusting, horrible things that Don Wells has said when it comes to his daughter's disappearance. No fucking way. No way someone could talk like that. I'm going to tell you something. You know, I'm a parent. And I'm going to tell you something. If I heard someone else talk that way, God help them. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, motherfuckers better hold me back, because it's on. Don't even say it. Don't even. Nobody better not say shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Your mental status with a missing child cannot handle that kind of traumatizing words being said about your child.
Well, if you listen to the interview, he's laughing in it. It's like when he talks about, you know, they probably beat the, you know, and he says they probably beat the F out of her, and, you know, probably got rid of the evidence and probably killed, you know. Mm-hmm. But beforehand, he's talking about sexualizing her. Yes. And he's laughing like he's like, you know, like he's got that smirk on. And you know, that's that predator. That predator instinct is what that is.
And he had the same smirk with the news guy that came up there. Remember, he says, and he smirked at that guy the same way when he said, she won't ever be found. That's what he told that newsman. And he smirked when he said it. And then he did it again to another news lady. She asked, you know, did he have anything to do? And he said, well, I could ask you the same question, and gave that same fucking ugly smirk, right?
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to tell you something. Don and Candus have been bastards. They have been bastards in this from day one.
Well, you know, I told everybody before Allie got into the situation she got into about a year ago, I spoke with her. And I spoke with her about maybe 10, 12, maybe 15 minutes total. And I mean, it like I was telling everybody when, you know, I come back into this, I was like, it kind of shocked me, you know what, because I didn't know how to take her, but we was having a conversation. It was a real good, serious conversation. And there was no reason for her to ever say what she said. But she said that Hunter, you know, had told her, but she also said that he had also mentioned it to Andrew. And I was wondering, because what she told me had a lot to do with what people was talking about with that damn hammer. And I never even heard about the hammer. I never even heard anything about a hammer that supposedly that was one of Don's work hammers. So, I mean,
see, that's what I was concerned about. Okay.
So,
and I do believe I was on a live with PG one night whenever I was it was either on a live or we were like behind the scenes talking about it, you know, because I was concerned about it, because Donnie had come on this recording on a live with some guy, and he was talking about how he had dreams of Summer's head being bashed in with a hammer, you know, and I'm thinking, oh hell no, I know that wasn't a dream that he had. It couldn't have been. It was probably actual life. There couldn't have been no dream.
You know, it's funny. It's funny that he says that an angel came to him, told him that Summer's going to be gone. And then the angel reappeared 18 days before Summer did actually disappear. You know, and told him again, But the funny thing about the 18 days, the funny thing about the 18 days was that the 18th day is when she was dancing in front of the for sale barrel, right? It was also when he took that picture with tears in his eyes, saying, "I'm sorry, Summer. I'm so sorry, Summer. I love you, Summer. I'm so." And then him and Candus carry Summer out of the house, and there's a witness to this, which is Dudley, the guy that was working with Don at the time. And Dudley says that they came out of the house with Summer, her face down, like, he don't know if she was asleep or sedated, but they carry her out of the house. Donald's carrying the baby, just like he was in the picture, carries her out of the house. Him and Candus are getting in the vehicle with Summer, taking her away somewhere. And the boys are screaming, "Where are you taking Sissy? Where are you going? Where are you taking our Sissy?" And from what Dudley says, yeah, they took her somewhere.
Well, the phones that was destroyed, there's a reason they was destroyed. Candace had texted or called Don when that happened, and they knew that if they seen when the time period was on the timeline. And this is what Allie had said. Because it went together, because when she was throwing them phones away, she was on the phone. She was on one of the phones with me, and she was talking about how she has to get rid of the phones. And I said, "What do you mean get rid of the phones?" Because shortly after that, she came to me and I gave her a new cell phone. It was brand new. It was no contract, no anything. It was unlocked.
Now I'm going to tell you what.
Okay.
I was talking with Don and Candus. I was talking with Don and Candus on the phone. And I believe if I'm right, I was talking to them. I don't remember that phone thing came up. The phone thing came up. And I believe that it was Candus said that it was your phone that she threw in that water because she felt you were tracking her. I'm pretty sure it was. Maybe she said it was your phone, and Donald said because she felt you were tracking her.
No, see,
I know that
she came and got
they were saying that it was your phone that went into that water. And
no, she came and got the phone after she called me and threw the other phones in the lake.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's when she came over. Because when she came over, it was $44 in her tank. I think it's like $42 or $44 in her tank. Went in and got her. I paid for her Mountain Dew, and she got some bait and tackle stuff.
Hey, Brenda, I appreciate that. God bless. God bless, girl. All right. God bless. Amen.
Hey, Ernie, can I ask you a question?
So it was.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it couldn't be your phone, Ernie. It couldn't have been.
No, it was not. It was a brand new phone that I gave her. And the reason she had to have it because she didn't have none, because she threw the rest of her phone. She had to throw the rest of them away.
Why was she lying? Why was she lying? What's the reason in lying? Why did she say it was your phone?
Because she always lies.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I have a question. I have a thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're talking about. Okay, remember the guy?
So, no, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Pam. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to ask what was on my mind. So, the phone she came and got from you, Ernie, was after that video where she was going, I'm sick. I'm in the woods. I camping out.
Now she was talking. She called me when she was like she was dying, like she was just sick and.
So the phone you gave her was after that.
Yeah, it was after she threw the other phones away. Because when first thing she said, I said, "Where you at?" She said, "I'm at this lake," and I said, "What are you doing in the lake? You fishing again?" And she said, "No." She said, "Donnie told me to get rid of these phones, and I'm getting rid of these phones." I said, "What phones?" She said, "Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to get rid of it, and I'm gonna have to go because when because she was on the damn thing." And sure enough, I was like, well, I said, don't you have a phone? Don't you? No, I won't after this. I said, well, if you're coming by and you said you was going to come over, I've got a new phone. It's brand new. It's never been, it's in a box still. And she
Right.
said, oh, like that. And I said, yeah. I said, you're more than welcome to it. I don't need it. I've got enough phones. I've got my own phone. But
Right.
she ended up throwing that one. Now I heard later on when Don got out of, because Don was in jail in this time. You have to remember that Don was still in jail. Candace
Exactly.
was running around and just
Right.
belligerent. And when Don now she kept that because for it's like a couple months later or something, 2 or 3, something like that. Don ended up getting out. Well, anyways, she still had that, and then he made her throw that phone away too.
Okay.
Didn't she throw it away on a mountain or something
Now,
like that?
see, when I
Okay.
talked to him about when that particular conversation arose, it was after Don had got out of jail. It was after Don had got out of jail, the conversation about the cell phone, throwing it in a lake. She said it was your cell phone she had threw away. And one of them continued with the conversation saying, I think I said, why? And they said, because it would possibly you were tracking her every move. So that's how that conversation went.
Okay, but there was a phone. When Chris was down there at the swimming hole,
Right.
Chris said, did you take that phone to the police station yet? And she said, no, I have to take it tomorrow because I'm going. Now, there was a phone that she had when Chris went down to the swimming hole with her, and she
Right.
talked about a phone. I don't know what phone that is. And also, Benny said when he was on a live, he said the phone was over on that shelf behind her, as he, with her in that ball hat. He said there
Yeah,
was a
I
phone.
remember.
That's
Yes.
the phone that was supposed to have been downloaded to Tim Mullen's computer.
Right. That was Don's.
That was Don Wells' phone.
Yes, that was Donald's phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she tried to say that his phone was out in Grandma's trailer, locked away.
And then there was a phone, they said, that was, she told Chris asked her, said, did you turn that phone in? And she said, no, I have to turn it in tomorrow because I have to go talk to him. And she said, that's when I'm going to turn that phone in. She said that phone was in the car at the time at the swimming hole with her and Chris.
Have you guys checked back in the private chat yet?
Exactly. Huh?
Have you looked in your private chat?
Yes.
Did you see that?
I don't pay attention to private chat. It's just
I saw that. And I was like, whoa.
Okay, and another thing that I have to say is about all these people that Jerry McLean that worked for Don, or that was up at Don's, he died. Then you got Leslie. Then you got, and you're talking about that girl. That girl was Brianna Tester. She was the one that was supposed to go to court, and she's the one that took the child from another family member to take it to go get safe. And when she was getting ready to go to court, she ended up dead before court. And then you got there was a Taylor guy under face down that was face down in a ditch. And then you got Leslie, then you got Allie, and then you got deception detective, or something detective, deception, some kind of lady that was a creator. And then you got Nana's Angels, which connected to the box. I'm just talking about the people that had passed. And then you got, it's all like everybody that is connected to these wells somehow end up gone. But Marlena Crawford stayed with the wells for a while, just like Allie stayed with the wells on the property. Now, also at the time, and Lisa knows this, at the time that she met up with Candus at that church, she was not in the woods at that time, right, Lisa? You were
No,
at
I was
another
not in
friend's
the
house.
woods. I was living at a friend's house.
Yes, you was at a friend's house. I don't want the chat to get confused. You weren't at the woods at the time that you met them at the church. That's this chat
Girl, I
will get
hadn't lived
confused.
in the woods in a long time. So why Candace even put that in a chat, in Daisy's chat, supposedly, I don't know. But I'm telling you, I had several people contacting me, telling me that Candace was threatening to unalive me.
And that at that time you were staying at your friend's house when she.
Yes, I was staying at a friend's house.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
And as far as everybody wants to know, I know one time I talked to Pamela Wells. Okay, I talked to her for about 3 months. I don't have all the texts. I sent them to Doug at one time. I don't have the same phone. If I did, I could show you every text message that I had of Pamela Wells. And Pamela Wells, when the wells got brought up, when the septic tanks and all that stuff got brought up, she told me that there was 3 up there. And she told me, and I knew the story about on the porch. She went and made Don a cup of coffee. When she came out, Candace and Don was kissing all over the porch. And that's when she lived, and kissing on the porch. And
That
then
house
she
that I
said,
sent up, hold up, Pam.
he said, just
That
leave.
house
He
that,
told Don to leave and take her with you.
okay, that house that I sent PG that picture of is the same house that Candace and Donnie were making out on that porch.
Yes.
And then he lied to PG and told PG that that was not the house that we all lived at, okay?
And then
Because
there
me
was,
and Francis, hold up, Pam. Me and Francis, Greg, and the kids and James lived in that shed back there, okay? And I know for a fact that that was the same house. And then Donnie come up on panel and he was telling PG, no, that's not the same house. And he said that he took a picture of that house and he sent it to PG. Where is that picture of that house, Donnie? What did you do with that picture of that house?
and
And
then
why
there
did
was
you add a
another house
PG?
they lived in, and the people that, like the tents in the backyard, Pamela Wells told me about that. I'm just saying what Pamela Wells told me. I have pictures of Pamela Wells in blonde hair. I have pictures of her in her younger days on there. I talked to her for 3 months when everybody else was talking to everybody else, like, doing all these other interviews. But I was talking to Pamela Wells. She said she lives in her son's backyard in a camper, which the camper's still over there. And in Utah, because she was living in that camper on Don's property at one time. She moved from
Right.
there to Kingsport. When she lived in Kingsport, she got booted out of there and had to go live with her son. Well, her
Okay.
son,
Okay. Wait a minute. Back up.
Oh, whoa. No, she moved back to Arkansas.
So Pamela
But then
Wells,
she went to Tennessee.
Pamela Wells moved over into Tennessee, and since Don and Candus has been living there.
Pamela Wells lived on the property in that trailer that Molly Golightly,
Right.
that trailer
Right.
that was down there. Not
Exactly.
Grandis's, but the other
No,
trailer.
we know that she was up there living with Donald when he got arrested.
Okay, when
transported-
she moved out of that trailer, she
Right.
moved over at Kingsport.
Okay.
She moved to
And
Kingsport.
then you said she moved back to Arkansas, Lisa?
No, then she
Yes,
went back to
yes,
Utah.
she did, Pam. Yes, she did. She moved back to Arkansas, and then she moved back to Utah.
That's not what I'm just saying what she told me. Because she said that they were going, or that she had adoption papers for Candus in her storage unit. I'm saying what she said, not my words. She said it to
Right.
me. I can have the text, but I don't have the same phone. I wished I did. I'd bring it all out. And she said that they were in the storage unit. I even asked to see them. And she said she put everything in storage because she had to stay with her son in the trailer. And then after that, then she moved back to Arkansas. Then something about Arkansas. She has warrants, I think,
Yes,
in Arkansas.
she has warrants in Arkansas
Exactly.
on drug charges. She failed to appear on the drug charges, so now she has the warrants out of Arkansas.
Exactly.
Pam, it was 4 years ago that me and my husband seen her at Life Source. We talked to her, and she was going back to Utah at that time.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah.
Oh
Because before she even moved to Utah, she rented a trailer. She was buying a trailer on payments to my husband's ex-wife. And then they kicked her out of there, okay, because she was behind on her payments. When the police went up there to evict Pam Wells, they refused to let them in the house. And Pam, the next time I see Richard, I will put him on the phone with you and he can tell you the same thing. The police would not let them go in there. They said that it smelled like somebody had died up in that trailer. So they had to go up in that. Yes, ma'am. They had to go up in that trailer.
Oh.
The police went up in that trailer to make sure that there were no deceased bodies in that trailer.
Wow.
And Ernie, I have a question for you. When you were on that live with Candus and she was at that lake, because I have heard it I even played the sound of it on one of my lives, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this live disappeared. This live that this lady had played that on totally disappeared, okay?
Okay.
But when you were talking to Candus and she was getting sick, you could hear a shovel hitting the ground.
Are you talking about Kathy the friend?
Yeah.
Kathy the
Kathy
friend was not. She ain't disappeared. She just don't like me.
No, I didn't say Kathy disappeared. When Candus was talking to Ernie, when she was at the lake and she was getting sick,
yeah,
this lady played it, and I ain't talking about Kathy, the friend.
You could hear that in the phone. Yes, I remember that.
Yes. And Candus was getting sick, and she said, I can't do this anymore. And you could hear what sounded like a shovel hitting the ground.
That's true. That's true. That is so
and then
true.
you got Candus also saying, okay, and I'm sorry if I'm loud. Candus also saying that over there on Daisy, that if I go out in the woods, and this will go along with the scooping, I would have to scoop her up. Or if I found her, I would have to scoop her up, and I would mess up a crime scene. Now, not even law enforcement has said crime scene at all. Candus is the only one that has come up with the word crime scene. So where's the crime scene, Candus, that you said you would have to scoop her up from? And what are you going to scoop her up with, Candus? A shovel. So come on, Candus, come forward right now and tell the truth. Because I'm
Right.
telling you what,
Hey,
they ain't telling the truth about nothing.
Exactly.
They ain't done
hey,
nothing in 2.5 years, 2 years. We've been on
Ernie,
this
what did you
case.
think?
We care more about their daughter
hey,
than they do. And this
absolutely.
is a bunch of, we have to circle down to the nitty gritty, and we shouldn't have to, because Don and Candus know. Candus said, I know where all 4 of my kids are. Oh, but if I would, but the boys for sure. And if I could, or something about if I would, or it takes everything I got to not go kidnap them boys and leave the country.
Yes, she did say that. Hey, Ernie,
Yeah, go ahead.
the chat would like you to finish telling the story. What did Allie tell you about a hammer?
Well, here's the thing. It's one of those Columbo moments, and I would like to talk to Hunter to just kind of collaborate with what he told her, just to because I've actually got him hook, line, and sinker. Once he says no, I didn't have it, I can actually probably play a little bit about what happened, and then he's going to have to admit one way or the other. But he also, here's the thing: people are saying something about Andrew now, and that he came in or something like that. You know,
He
it was
flipped the
also it
script.
was also mentioned that he told that he told Andrew a little bit about stuff. So I was like, I don't know who all he told or what the deal was, but I do know he told Allie something, because Allie told me about a year ago. I got to hear this about a year ago. Before all this stuff started happening. So, but it was unraveling. It was already starting to unravel, and I knew, if I go, it's back when Hunter was first starting getting mentioned about. Well, it's been a couple years now, but after a while, everybody was watching. You remember when other creators would go and they would go over to the park and they would try to find out anything and everything, and they'd wait for people to come out. You remember that, right?
Right,
So they could try
yes.
to talk to them.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
during that time, I got to contact Allie. And like I said, we only talked, it was brief. It was 10 or maybe 10, 12 minutes. And, during that time, she stated that, Hunter had said something that, it just goes different. Do you remember when you remember when he was real tore up and everything, Hunter?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, there was a story that he told the girlfriend what had happened, and the girlfriend told the mother, and the mother went and contacted Allie about it, and it was just something that Hunter had told, and it went around that then it got to, and then the mother that of the girlfriend, whatever, had went and told Allie, and they got in an argument or something. That was the story that was going around too.
But it
That
was
Hunter
also
told his
supposed
girlfriend.
it was also supposed to have been posted up on Facebook that Summer had drowned it. And then Nana's Angels came out with an email that somebody had sent her when Candace kicked this girl out of her house, right? Because she caught this girl Crystal sleeping with her husband, with Donnie, okay? So they kicked this girl out. Nana's Angels pulled the email out and was talking about it and was reading the email out. She said this girl had took off. This couple had picked this girl up going down the road, okay? And when they picked her up, PG, I don't know if you watched that live or not, but the girl had told her that Summer had drowned, and they Candace put Summer's body in the car, took it up to the house for Donnie to take to the lake and bury.
Yeah, but there was also a story of Candus saying, "Oh, well,
I don't believe anything
Don
Candy
saying
has to say.
that, oh, she put her in her car."
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that, PG?
Absolutely. You know,
So here's the story. So here's the story, like Allie says. It's it was in the water. That did happen. Summer went up under the water or something like that, slipped and hit her head. But she said that they had said that there was a place in the back of her head, and she was bleeding, but she was addled when she come out. And then she when she got out of the water, she was really, really addled. So Candace grabbed her, and she got on her phone. She called Don and put her in the vehicle real fast. And I've got to get her to Don. Hunter said that they came back, and Don had Summer, and Don took Summer out around, but he had his tool belt. He had his belt part on. He had his hammer in his thing there, and that's where the hammer thing came in, because the hammer wasn't even I never heard anything about the hammer until I started looking into it. Well, I heard a lot of people saying about it, but when Allie named it, I was like, whoa, hell, wait a minute. But then you hear in the interview, Don says they had to get rid of the evidence, and then they killed her. So, I mean, if you listen to that, and you talk about, everybody's talking about the hammer, but that was the reason that Hunter was all shook up. Now, I heard that's the reason Hunter was all shook up, because Don beat her brains out with the hammer.
oh
That's
my
what
God.
that's what Allie had said and before. And then Hunter had said, and Hunter was all tore out of hell about it, because Candace was trying to keep him, stable and everything about what was happening. And Candace covered it all up. But he said Don was there. So, and that's why I wanted Hunter. That's why I wanted to speak to Hunter, because I've got him in a gotcha moment there. When he says no, and then he starts stuttering, then I can hit him with another opening question about something else, and then it leads on into more what she even said. But during this time, we had open portals and all this to the TBI. Everything was turned in. Like Predator Hunter Nation had an open portal to the TBI. We talked to them on a regular about this.
Allie told you that. Allie told you that
there was a hammer that was used. That's what she said.
Did she? And she said that Summer had a gash in her head.
She had a gash in her head.
From the swimming hole.
She was bleeding.
When did Allie tell you this? Did you record it?
This has been about a year and something ago.
She was on your panel talking to you?
No. We talked otherwise.
So you
not
talked
on panel. It wasn't nothing public. Nothing public. I didn't.
So you talked to Allie. Mm-hmm. You talked to Allie behind.
That's why I want Andrew or somebody to verify this and stuff. And I've got them in the Colombo moment.
Andrew was just up here. I wish he'd have stayed up here. I wish he would have stayed up here to verify.
I would like to ask him, if because according to Allie, Hunter had also said something to Andrew about it, what had actually happened. But putting people on the spot, when you start putting them on the spot, that's when you're going to get your answers, of course. But you got to find out what's the real truth about it. Anybody could say anything. Like I said, we're not law enforcement officers. We're not nobody to be able to condemn somebody or convict someone. It's just hearsay until more people start saying, well, what maybe it's that did happen. Then that's when it starts getting even more. It brings it out even more.
Do you have proof that Allie said this? Do you have?
I've turned everything. I put it this way. I've turned everything in. I would have never brought it out if, like into the public until doing what's right first. But this has been a year. This has been a year and something ago. I was off of it after November the 20. It was November in 21 when the sheriff's department pulled me over and pretty much told me to cease and desist everything. I did. I had to. And now I got a call this morning. I got a call at 9:58 this morning, and I've got it on my call logs. I can show you where sheriff's department gave a call, and then, you know, that's just what it is. It's told me again, hey, you might need to go another direction. Okay, well, you know, I'll just you guys can have it, you know, pretty much. And that's why I said, I work in the shadows. You get more done in the shadows than you do in the public light or in the spotlight. So you can get a lot more done. And I'm going to continue doing my little interviews and stuff, my field interviews. And I'm going over to Hawkins County here soon. So, I mean, we're working on that right now.
Okay,
So,
we need to put stuff out, Ernie, that will trigger them to come forward, right?
Well, I mean, that's why if you watch my panel and stuff, you watch my channel, hell, everybody's there. You have Jody Sue, you have Andrew, you have Andy B, you have all these people that come in, but nobody's going to come up on panel because of the gotcha moment. There's always going to be that gotcha moment or that heat or that hot seat that they're going to be on. And if the right questions are asked, then boom. It's just like, I don't know how anybody is with Cher. As soon as I mentioned yesterday that she's hiding other photos and hiding other things, that she's got more of it, hell, it wasn't 10 minutes later, she's coming up with new photos and, oh, these are in my photo log here, and I just didn't notice it, but I just now mentioned it. I mean, I just have brought it out. That's why everybody's starting to open their damn eyes.
When they had Summer in the back seat on the photos, and they claimed that they had dressed Summer from the swimming hole, okay, and Summer's laying on the milk jugs, you can see 2 bruises on the side of Summer's head, and you can see a mark on her ear and blood droppings. You have to zoom it in really close to see it, but you can see the blood droppings on her jacket. And everybody says,
just think about what they had the cold milk and stuff there for, and what they was. I mean, it don't take it don't take rocket science to figure all this out. Especially when you got 2 main people who are supposedly suspects, anyways, and it's just there's a lot of stuff that don't add up with it, though. I mean, still, even though if you did have that part and that is right, there's still a lot of stuff that does not add up. But, when you get down into the main thing, what could have happened, then think about it. I mean,
right.
You don't have a predator. You don't have a child predator dreaming about busting somebody's brains out with a hammer. Let's just say that. That's serial killer type shit. That's rapist type shit. That's what they do. They have these premonitions about what's going on, and they see these visions before they even do things. Hell, I mean, if you go through history and you look at the statistics, you see all this stuff. So, people can go from there. He paints a picture. Here's the thing. When you're interrogating anyone, people that you're interrogating, they always, if the questions are answered, if the right questions are asked, they interrogate themselves, or they contradict themselves, and they tell on themselves. That's the thing about it. People always tell on themselves. They don't know it, and they don't realize they're telling on themselves, but they're kind of a proud moment in with that. Well, that's why Don Wells was always smirking and laughing about certain things, because a child predator is just what that is. But there's different types of predators out here. Some do it for enjoyment. Some do it, some people do it for over empowerment. They want that power. They want that control. Well, Don is a different type. We all see that. I mean, every interview he's done. I mean, look at the 13. I mean, look how he talked about kids and stuff. And then he talks sexualizing Summer. Y'all remember when he did that, right? When he was sexualizing Summer, he sexualized Summer.
Yep.
So
yes, he did do that.
He talked like Summer was his wife and not his daughter.
But I know that the Wells. I know for a fact the Wells. From day one, Candus was saying it's not about Summer. She was. And from day one, they weren't passing out flyers. Matter of fact, they wasn't wanting the reward fund. They weren't wanting the billboards. I mean, I sat back and I watched Don and Candus and Grandis, all of them, sit there and basically not do a thing. I sit there and watch them not want anything, any kind of nothing to find Summer. I sit there and I watch them, you know, play fucking games. I sit there and I watch them, you know, work harder. They work so hard to not talk about summer, to not get summer found, to not, you know, everything with them was not. To not get the focus on them. They wanted to put it out there on anyone and I mean, they was willing. They were willing to take the risk of possibly getting seriously hurt by someone, you know, throwing people under the bus. What I'm saying is, like when they threw Andy Bernard under the bus, when they threw, you know, Fred Hill under the bus, when they were throwing Dudley under the bus, they were throwing, you know, I think Donald finally realized, you know, that he better stop that shit when he did Wayne Morlock. I think at that point is when he realized that, you know, one of these people are going to, you know, are going to come back. They're not going to have their name smeared like that. He put the lights out there. He put so many people out there and, you know, in the under that bus and you know, just to keep the focus off of them. That's how scared they were. That's how afraid they was.
Because they never once, PG, and you know this, not one time did Don blame his wife or the grandma.
Oh, absolutely
not.
not.
One time did he blame
but
them.
These are the people he needed. These are the people that he needed to keep close to his vest, because he felt that, you know, damn, if he turned on them, girl, they're going to turn on him, right? He can't do that. But,
well,
you know, what I'm saying is, no, what I'm saying is everything, you know, it don't lead up to an accident. It doesn't lead up to, oh, okay, Hunter might have picked her up in the air, you know, slid her over his back, bam, she might have hit a rock, and, you know, it went all bad in the swimming hole. No. It does not lead to that, because I'm going to tell you why. They shaved her head. They shaved her head, and nobody else's head was shaved. So, you know, big red flag.
And there we go.
They had her dancing in front of that for-sale barrel. They knew she was going to be disappearing. You know, they took her somewhere, and nobody knows where they took her that day. When the boys was asking where you're taking Sissy, Donald also, you know, started driving the Subaru because it wasn't, you know, it wasn't as easy to spot as his truck in the area where he was working. Also, it had Starlink, which is, you know, an extra alibi for him. You know, he knew that as well, that, you know, on top of his phone. Also, he fires his coworker the day before, so he'll have someone to blame what was going down onto. No, whatever happened to Summer was premeditated. It was pre-planned, premeditated, and carried out.
Remember,
15, 2021. Now,
remember also when Don, and this goes back to Ernie's hammer deal, okay?
right?
When Don was beaten on that refrigerator, he said, I don't know what all she did.
Right, meaning I don't know.
Beating on that refrigerator with a hammer.
Right.
No, it was a stick that he was beating on.
Yeah, and he said, I don't know what all she did, meaning he doesn't know if she was playing hide and go seek in there, if she was playing how, you know, acting like that was her refrigerator to put food in, take it out of. You know, he doesn't know exactly what why or what she was playing.
Yeah, but that she could have been Candus, Grandis, or Summer. It could have been either three of them. I don't know what she did. Okay.
No, because that's not true, because him and the news lady was talking specifically about Summer. They were talking specifically about Summer. So when he made that statement, it was about Summer, not anyone else, right? So, you know, does that
when he's talking to Brian Eaton down at the bottom. He was supposed to meet Candus, but he wouldn't let Candus come at the bottom of to meet Brian Eaton. And then he also stated to Brian Eaton, I don't know what all they did. At that point, in that interview, I don't know what all they did.
Hey, Ernie, you said you talked to Allie. Did you talk to Hunter as well, or your
No,
wife?
and that's what I was waiting on doing, is talk to Hunter.
Right.
I've never spoken to Hunter in my life. I don't, so I
Okay.
don't know. Like I said, I didn't even know any of this even existed like this that was going on. But I'd already spoke. I made sure I got to speak to some of the main players. Hell, I'd already spoke to Don. I spoke to Candus multiple times. Hell, I'm looking at my messages right now, seeing how many actually messengers. I probably got over 1,000 messages with just Candus.
Right.
Just with that. I mean, it was a daily thing. I was talking to her.
What made you not? Why didn't you come forth with the information Allie told you way back when she did?
Because I already got to the cease and desist after that. And I ain't said nothing else about anything. I mean, I've turned it all in. I've already done all that. But, like I said, we had an open portal. We had an open portal with TBI at that time.
So
we turned in everything. This is back, about a year and a half, 2 years ago or whatever.
Who was the cease and desist over?
It was from the sheriff's department. I got pulled over, and I thought I was out of their jurisdiction there, and I got pulled over, and they pretty much told me, just I need to go a different direction and stop what I'm doing. So I said, okay. And that's one reason I went straight. I went straight out and I said, we're done with the Summer Well stuff, like it was done. And then I only got back in it 4 days ago. And then only reason I was talking, and we done that live panel with me and BK, and next thing you know, they're asking about the phones, and I remember the phones because that's what he was asking me about, is that if I knew exactly whereabouts she threw those phones. I said I don't, because she never really told me that, but I know she was going to go fishing or something after that. But I never paid no attention to anything with that, and I got back into it. And this morning, about 9:58, I could show you the information. The sheriff's department called me, and it was 12 or 15 minutes long. So I just rather go about it another way.
If the cease and desist has been lifted, why can't you bring it out now? Why can't you?
Not. I mean, it wasn't a legal cease and desist. You have to understand who these people are.
Right.
I've known the sheriff's department and who they are, and all the police. I mean, when you get over toward Hawkins County, how do I say that?
Has been arrested.
Seriously, overall. Because I talk to Allie a lot, through Facebook, and I called her through.
Let me see. I'll see if I pull our messages up. I'll see if I can pull our messages up on Messenger.
Why is it that Don and Candus, Ernie, isn't behind bars right now? If we can figure all this out ourselves, why can't they?
I believe it leads into more.
Is there more crimes in it?
To do with more. Yeah.
Is it more crimes in the case than just the one crime, or how is? I mean, there's more. I feel like there's more crimes in the case, and a hell of a lot of more people that's involved.
I feel like there's a lot more to it. I feel like there's a ring, and I was naming about a couple church people that I pretty much know that's probably in it, and the rest is locals. But like when I was talking to Jody Sue, she was talking about her safety and all that, about her can't come out and say much because law enforcement and all that. And I asked her, I kind of got my answer there. I got my answer for what I know what it is. People go missing. People go, when you get back in the hollers. I mean, I don't know. You guys are familiar with the Ben Hill. I mean, you're familiar with them areas back in there, right? You all been there, right?
No.
and don't
You
plan to
have,
go
right?
there.
Well, okay, so when you
Ernie,
get back in those hollows, you don't have no cell phone service for one hardly. It's in and out and it's spotty and it's only in certain areas.
Okay,
So
then how did
it's a
Candace talk to
um,
Don the whole time on Facebook?
the cell phone service is better up in that area now than it was when Summer went missing. But Ernie, what I
yeah.
wanted to ask you, what do you truly believe happened to Summer June 15, 2021? I mean, what do
No, I
you
don't believe it. I don't believe it was on the 15th. I believe it was more like on the 14th. That
I
gave
do.
Don plenty enough time to set everything up and have everything. It's a proven fact. Most criminals, when they do something, they set it in before time, and then they act like it happened in the after time.
I think what he set up on the 14th was firing Dudley to have someone to blame come the 15th. I think that Donald,
Well,
Candace, and Brandon
the
knew.
14th is when the worker had walked up on Don anyway, and he said he looked like he lost his best friend, and he was
Yeah, that was
distraught.
Dudley, and that's the
Right,
same day Dudley was
right.
fired as well. And
Hmm.
then on the 15th, they were at Dudley's dad's house looking for Dudley because Donald had done turned Dudley into the number one suspect. And so basically Donald kept his money. I mean, with what Donald did, it was all a win-win-win situation for Donald. What I'm saying is, it really sounds like what happened to Summer was really planned out to a T. I mean, close to when they were going to be finished with the work, the money was going to go in the bank, so it didn't look like Don needed money. When he could fire the co-worker and actually blaming, victimizing for doing what actually Don, Candace, and Grandis have plotted, planned, and carried out, in my opinion. Um,
Well,
you
there's a
know,
many times Don talks about her being, she's probably in some hotel somewhere or something like that. That goes with child trafficking too. Like I said,
the thing that bothers me the most is it's weird that you mention that, because I'm going to tell you why. I can remember when he was really going off screaming, I know where she's at. I know where she's at. He was really, I think, trying to get law enforcement's attention. And I
mhm.
think that he really did believe that he knew where she may be. And I think that he really might have been trying to lead law enforcement to this particular place, to possibly, if they were still there. I think he might have either known or suspect a location where, at some point she was, and he thought maybe still there, and that law enforcement could still intervene and he could come out smelling like a rose. But he couldn't get the attention that he wanted to get it done. They wasn't listening to him. And I often thought that, he was trying to regain her. He was trying to regain her, right? I mean, I think that he thought maybe he could regain, um, he could right his wrong. He could right the wrong. And, but, I have diligently did my research in this case, and I'm telling you, when all the pieces fall and you put the puzzle together with solid, not with he said, she said BS, but when you put it together with the words coming out of the horse's mouths, with solid stuff. This is all solid coming from Don, Candace, Grandis, coming from their actions and their mouth. When you put it all on the table and you put it together, it all adds up to one or two things. One, I don't like the fact that Candace turned the camera off when Hunter went out into that water. When he walked out into the water, camera went off. Now, it kind of bothers me that Pruitt said they don't believe she was trafficked outside the area. They think she's still in the area. That's basically saying trafficking.
Well, I believe she was in there for a while because of the attention it got. I believe she was taken to some hotel. I mean, that's my part. That's my part about it.
Well, I don't know if they was doing something like that inside the area, and something happened that they couldn't take her to a doctor or hospital to be to be cured or to be looked over. Then then they don't want to go to prison. Now, is Candus capable of getting a young boy, a young guy like Hunter to do something to this, to do something like that? I don't know. I don't know if they if that was a scenario. The other scenario is, yeah, Candus. Now, Candus supposedly came out of the driveway twice that day. And the first time she came out, she told me she went all the way to their church. And I said, why'd you go there? She said she wanted to see if anybody was there, the preacher, Robin. So it was the seventh, a vintage church or
The
whatever.
vintage, yeah.
So it had to have been that church. But, did she indeed lie and go?
Well, what about the screams? What about the screams?
That's unfounded. I believe that's bullshit. I believe that's a lie, because me and Donald had a talk, and I told him that damn scream ain't fitting his timeline. That he said, no, sissy, actually it does. And I said, no, it doesn't. And he's like, yes, it does. And I said, no, Donald, listen.
Well, here's the thing. They come up with 8 or 9 different timelines.
Well,
he admitted that.
He got real ugly with me. He got real fucking ugly with me. And I had to calm him down. I said, look, Donald, I don't want to argue. I ain't trying to fight with you. I'm just, if you just be quiet, because he wasn't wanting to be quiet. I said, if you just be quiet, listen, and let me have just a couple seconds to explain this to you, and then you could scream all you want. So he agreed. And I told him, I said, look, the scream came around 4:42, 4:47. You didn't even call law enforcement until 6:28, 6:30 is what they're capping it off at. I said, so, and at that time of the scream, Summer would have still been, washing her hands, planting flowers, washing her hands, getting candy. There's no way. No, she wouldn't even have been close to disappearing yet. So how does that timeline fit into, how's it fitting into this scenario? Because she wasn't even supposed to come up missing till more like 5:30, close to 6 o'clock, because you didn't call law enforcement till almost 6:30. So the scream ain't working. And you know what? He went back. He went home. He talked with Candus. Candus got in contact with Jody Sue, wanting Jody Sue to move the timeline and of the scream. Now, if the scream was real, why the fuck did Candus feel that she could ask for that scream to be moved to a different timeline? It's BS. What I'm saying, and it also shows that, they were corresponding together. So there's more people involved in this than Candus, Grandis, and Donald, right?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
What Don says in the interview, he says we all had to come up with there's like 8 or 9 different timelines. And then he said we had to find out what would fit. And I'm sitting here thinking, in a crime scene or anything, there's just only one timeline. There's one timeline. There's nothing else with that. You don't just come up with crazy I mean, he's like, it's all just confusion and all that. And I'm like, for that many hours?
PG tried to help Don in the beginning to tell. Didn't you write a letter, PG, for Don? And you was trying to help him?
That's true. Yes, that's true. I did.
And he wouldn't listen to nothing.
I felt that, here's what I felt. I felt that if I wrote the letter for him and showed him and kind of gave him an ideal, an ideal of, of, I felt Donald act like he didn't know how to express himself, when it came to talking about his daughter. And I thought that, this is just a backward, a person that just don't know how to express how they feel about their children, right? I just figured these are just backwooded humans that have a hard time expressing themselves, maybe lack of education, lack of, common sense, lack of something. I don't know what they were really lacking. I just thought that, if I wrote him a letter, showed him how, how a human, a normal person out there that ain't afraid to speak up, would, address a community without fear, when it came to talking to their child, about their child, that it would help him. It would give him confidence to be able to do it on his own. That's what I was reaching for, was him to be able, to get enough courage to do it on his own. I thought he just needed a push, some help. Yeah, he totally fucked it up, right? That's
Oh Lord, yeah. Well, look,
Ernie,
I've got to get going, guys. I've got to get going. I got to work early in the morning. So,
okay, Ernie, they have
it's
one
been great.
question.
It's been
They
great.
have
I
a
appreciate
question
y'all.
for
Thank you all, chat. Thank you for having me. Thank you, PG. Thanks. Be safe.
Ernie, they have a question
Yes.
for you. Do you
Go ahead.
think Summer is alive? And this is
Not
your
now.
opinion.
Not now. No, not now.
Okay, that's what the chat asked.
No, I do not. Because the statistics is, I mean, if you look at what it is, I mean, say if it was child trafficking or whatever, I mean, Don's already said enough times that, because of the Hive case it was,
I'll
they
see you
have
in
to
the
get rid of her.
resurrection, and you won't find no evidence.
Yeah, and all that. I mean, just, listen to a lot of these interviews, you're going to hear about what he says. I mean, he pretty much paints a picture of what happened. So I don't know exactly, there's a lot of.
I
Go ahead.
truly believe that Don, Candus, and Grandis, in my opinion, I truly believe they know Summer is no longer with us. Absolutely.
Mhm.
You think it was an accident covered up, Ernie?
No, I don't. I think it was more of a controlled thing that people owed some people some money or something like that. Something of that deal.
Yeah, money owed.
That's what I think. But anyways, I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys. Thank you. If you guys want to check my channel out, Lightning Tiger 2023.
God bless. Much love.
Thank you, PG. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, it's been a really interesting night. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everyone has different opinions. I mean, my opinion is different from, my opinion's different from Ernie's. Allie, I talk to Allie quite a lot. And I think she would have told me. I personally think she would have confided in me if, something like that. And she didn't. She did not ever confide anything like that in me whatsoever.
They said Ernie's coming. Andrew's coming.
Here's my thing. Without receipts, and trust me, if Allie would have told me something like that, you guys would have known it. You would have known
Yeah,
it.
you gotta have receipts to go with what we say.
There's no receipts. Allie's not here. Allie is no longer here to defend herself.
Exactly.
She's no longer here to defend herself. So, I cannot say if she's talked to anybody else or she didn't. I can't say if anything like that was said or not. And do I
Somebody
believe
just
it?
said, PG, that Andrew's coming.
Um, do I believe? Do I believe that Allie said that? No, I'm
I
sorry.
don't
I
either.
don't. I do not believe that at all.
I don't, because the fact is, Allie would have not. Allie didn't really want to be on panels, and she
Well,
would have never
no,
let her son be on a panel.
Allie really didn't have a problem, coming up on panels and stuff. She was, she didn't like the hate. She didn't like the hate that you end up getting out here. A lot of people say bad things and stuff in the chats, and and that deters people. That really does deter. And it deters a lot of witnesses from coming up and giving out information that you could have gotten for the victim. You should always treat people with respect.
Yeah.
Andrew, I'm bringing you up in order to get the information that to get the information that is at hand. I wish that people would understand, that when you have people like Allie on panel, it's best to treat these people with the utmost respect, because they don't have nothing to do with what happened to the victim. They're just there to, they're there to try to help, and then to be hurt and criticized and bad things, reading bad things about them in the chat and stuff. You ain't hurting no one but the victim. You're not hurting that person on panel. You're hurting the victim, because now the information you could have got to help the victim is no longer there, because the person that could have gave that information has been deterred by hatefulness.
Yeah, this is about Summer Moon, Utah West.
We always have to keep in mind that this is about the victim, not the people on panel, but the victim. And be as kind as you can to get as much information as you can for the victim. That that is the smart way to go, and that's the smart way to help the victim, is what I'm saying. No one should be, even if you got the suspects up here, you need to be respectful until so they'll give the information needed for the victim. You working for the victim, not anyone else. And it's smart to always, whether you no matter what you think, try to stay nice, because honey always gets a lot more than vinegar. That's all I'm saying.
Respect is earned, though.
But a lot of people, I understand respect is earned. That ain't what I'm saying. You don't have to respect the people on panel. Who you respect is the victim, and you're nice. You're being nice for the victim's sake, not for the people on the panel. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, you want the information to help the victim, right? Exactly. Well, you're not going to get it by spewing hate. What you're going to do is shut the person down, and then they're not going to be, as soon as they start reading them ugly comments and all of that, it's going to deter them from wanting to move forward and talk and say what could possibly help the victim in the long run. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Andrew, you heard what was said. What do you got to say?
A lot.
Okay, Andrew.
You got to turn up a little bit.
Allie's not here to defend herself, and I don't like that, because a lot of people are going to be saying that Allie said things that I feel she didn't. And whether people believe it or not, I really liked Allie. Actually, I loved the woman. She was a beautiful human being, and I know she truly loves Summer. What I'm saying is, I don't want stuff spewed in her name that should not be, they just shouldn't be.
Exactly.
And you know, do you believe? Did she ever tell you anything like Ernie was saying? She told him.
No, actually, I was on a phone call, so I wasn't listening at all. But
Okay, he
I'll go
said.
back. I can go back and watch later on, though.
No, I tell you, he said that Allie. He talked to Allie behind the scenes, and Allie said that that when they were at the swimming hole, that somehow Summer got hurt. She got a gash in the back of her head, and that Candace carried her to the car. They put her in there. Then Candace, they dropped Summer to Don, then dropped Hunter off at his house, and that they knew and when they got to his work, that Hunter said when Candace and them got to Don's work where he was working in Jonesboro to hand Summer to him, that Don took the hammer out of his tool belt and finished Summer off. Do you believe that? And that's what made Hunter crazy.
No, I don't believe a word.
I mean, I don't believe that as well.
Is that man back on drugs?
Who?
Ernie?
I don't know. I don't know.
Miss
I
Pam?
mean, he said Allie talked to him behind the scenes, and this is what she said.
The only one Allie talked to behind the scenes was Chris. Well,
I know she talked to me behind the scenes.
well, I mean, when she started pulling herself away from doing so many panels,
Right,
and
right.
yeah, when she stopped doing panels, she's the only one. No, I'm not on drugs. I don't sleep, Linda. But I do have to. You do have Miss Pam here, correct?
Yes.
I would like to send my apologies to her for the way I acted a few months back, and
Oh, I appreciate that.
she more than
That
welcome
was
to come
really
back over.
nice, Andrew. That's really
No,
nice of you, man.
I forget what her last name is. I have so many people in my phone because I don't delete no messages, nothing.
Right,
I know several Pams, and well, Pamela is Pam's, you know,
right.
and it's hard to find her to unblock her to apologize to her straight to
Homeless
face.
hate.
So I do want to.
I told her that when me and you was talking behind the scenes that you said that you really didn't mean to do what you did,
I'm just hoping.
and you know, so you know, I let her know, and but you know, amen. It takes a big person to admit when they're wrong.
Can I ask one favor?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you remove the video,
Yes, most definitely.
please? I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. Give me one moment. How about I do it while we're sitting here?
I would. I mean, and I'm gonna tell you straight up. I did not contact her by phone,
All right. Well,
but that's all over with and done with.
yeah.
And she actually found her through Facebook.
Yeah.
But that's water under the bridge. This is about Summer.
Yeah, I'm not going over the Summer case much on my side. I haven't really done that anyway, but I'm not going over that on my side until something new is produced.
Andrew, what do you truly believe happened to
I,
Summer?
until I can figure out what happened between the time Hunter got dropped off till the time that call was made, I don't have any open opinion. My opinion is the same as it's always been. I mean, I'm hoping she's alive, but all things are
Right.
looking
Why
towards.
did Hunter flip
Right.
the script?
I don't know. That's what me and the wife have been beating our heads against the wall about. Is we don't know why he wanted to talk about Summer. We don't know why he said what he said. All we know is the boy was hurting, and he is
What
found.
do you think? He said 3:30 for sure. 3:30. That's a whole extra hour. A
Well,
whole extra hour.
if he's
I mean, a
anything,
lot can happen in an hour.
correct. If he's anything like his dad, though, major events of certain days will stick in your mind. So a major event is his PO came over that day. He's always going to remember when his PO shows up that see him.
Wait, do you know what
If they
time?
were written-
Do
Didn't
you
he
know
have
what
a
time
doctor's
the
appointment
PO?
that day, PG?
Do you know what time the PO showed up that day to see
Um,
him?
my understanding, it was between 2:30 and 3:30.
Okay, so there's no way that he could have been dropped off at 3:30 or he'd have missed the PO.
Right. So I think what it is that oh, excuse me. He was home at 3:30. He remembers 3:30 because that's when his PO was there.
Oh, so that's why 3:30 sticking with him. He
Yeah.
ain't counting. He ain't counting in the fact that he had done been dropped off
Right.
and was waiting.
Exactly.
Okay, okay.
But why did he tell Chris that he had a doctor's appointment?
Because what teenage
He
kid wants to admit, teenage kid wants to admit that,
said he has to see a PO.
yeah,
Exactly.
If you know you're going to see your PO, why would you drink alcohol before your PO appointment?
I don't know. Why did I drink alcohol and smoke a blunt before every piss test that I had every day when I was on felony probation?
I'm just asking.
You just do stupid things. I mean, am I happy that the boy's doing it? No. Can I prevent him from doing it?
Did Allie ever confide anything in you whatsoever about June 15th, 2021?
No. She only asked for the one thing that I have been doing since I started live streaming, which is
Do not
try
talk about Hunter.
which is to protect him as much as I can. But
Mm,
given the last couple of weeks, I can't really do much more other than what I have been, and he's gone so far off the deep end as of late that not even my words of weirdness and trying to help him are working anymore.
Do
he's
you know if
he,
Hunter does substance?
he's basically just flew off in his own direction.
hmm I have no control of that. I mean, he always would respect, no matter what he would say to me, whatever. Kids will be kids. He would always respect the fact of staying off of YouTube panels.
What is what, like when you say Allie asked you to protect Hunter as much as you can, um, what exactly did she mean by that?
Exactly what I've been doing. Because a lot of people before I started doing lives were saying a lot of evil things, and
Right,
got so bad to the point to where he lost um his first and second job due to people just walking up to him calling him a baby killer right in the middle of his work.
right,
And
right.
he got in trouble for that because he would lash out at them. So, I mean, it's not kosher, it's not cool. And then I started doing live saying, yo, just leave him alone, let him do his thing. He'll speak when he wants to. He'll speak in time, let him,
Right.
digest. Yeah, well, I think he chose the wrong time to digest and speak.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think so as well. You know,
But
um,
H, you have to define what you mean by that.
Andrew, do you know that Ernie is trying to pay H for an interview?
Yep,
Somebody just said that in chat. That's
I knew that. I knew that
um,
2 days ago.
I, H, H isn't going to do an interview with anyone after all of this. He's not going to do any interviews. I can guarantee
I
H
can
is not going to do any interviews, paid or not paid. He's just not going to do it. Because, you know, what I'm saying is, um, he's not going to do it due to the fact that, everything that has already occurred and went down out here is why he's not going to be doing it.
Well, you want my honest opinion on that one? I
Go
mean,
ahead.
he wasn't, too far off of doing what he did with me and my family and my channel. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him if he gets a bug up his ass, he'd go do it for the money. I mean, at this moment, he is completely uncontrollable, if that's the right word.
Um, you
He's
remember?
unpredictable.
Do you remember when Hunter said that he posted all that weird stuff on Facebook and that video where he said there's things he ain't gonna be able to come back from. What am I supposed to do? Just keep living with this all my life? Did he ever explain to you what the hell he was talking about in that scenario?
Yes, he did.
And I mean, if it's not our business, just say so. I can accept that.
Let's put it like this: it has nothing to do with unaliving anyone.
Okay, so did it have anything to do with June 15th,
No.
2021 at all?
Nope.
It was something totally outside of the Summer Wells case.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's, that
I
was,
can see how it looks, though. I can understand how it looks.
oh yeah, yeah. It did, yeah, it did look not very good, right?
Trust me.
Because when you become a public figure in a case like this, there you got to be more self-explanatory when you come out and say things like he was saying, right?
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
what I'm saying is you got to be more self-explanatory about what issue you're talking about, a girlfriend, the Summer Wells case, or you got to give people a understanding of where you're coming from when you're saying something like that.
Crimes have consequences. The girlfriend doesn't have custody. The state does.
And but they're but they're letting her keep him, right?
They're letting him stay there, but he's still under state custody. It's basically a foster. It's basically a foster home.
Now, I looked up the law in Tennessee.
Glad somebody
And the
did.
law in Tennessee does have a Romeo and Juliet law, but it only protects him up until the age of 18. Now, if the girl is a minor, and if she's a minor and she becomes with child after he becomes the age of 18, if she ain't with child already and she becomes that way after the age of 18, he can be tried and put it, and he can be in trouble because she's considered, once he turns 18, that particular girlfriend is considered an underage minor. That's what I'm trying to say.
I understand that. I do. But at this current moment in time, she ain't with child, and I hope to Lord it ain't any time in the next 4 years either.
Right, right.
How old is the girlfriend?
2 years younger.
2 years
Andrew,
younger than H. Okay.
So when
doesn't
he'll be 6.
Hunter have ADHD?
Genetic.
Okay.
Okay, and that word that you was looking for, Andrew, was unmanageable.
Thank you.
Um,
That was from chat.
ADHD is nothing but just, a hyperactive disorder.
Right.
It has nothing to do. It really has nothing to do. It just means that a human moves a little
He's
quicker
really hyper.
and so forth than other humans do.
No,
It doesn't really alter your. It doesn't really alter your learning ability if you're applying all that energy into learning,
mhm.
right?
Right. It only
No.
means that he's like really hyper.
Sorry, people are saying she's only 15. No, she is 16. You got to remember, you'll be born 2 years apart, but at different times of the year will make you look like you're only a year apart. So, so when he hits 19, she'll be just before he hits 19, she'll be 17. So they'll be about a year apart. Excuse me, until his next birthday. But they are 2 years apart.
Andrew, did you watch that live that JLR did with Allie and
Not to my
Green Bun and Sherry, where they got to talking? It was JLR and Molly Golightly and somebody else that was over there.
Oh yeah, when they
And
caught him on the streets.
yeah, well, Sherry had mentioned to JLR that they thought that Don and Candus unalived Summer, and they had her out there on the land somewhere. They had her buried out there on the land somewhere.
That is a conundrum, isn't it? And
Huh?
I said that's a conundrum, isn't it? Because I would believe the same thing, because like I said, there's still that time frame missing from the time they dropped him off to the time they called the police.
Right.
And for Love a Scorpio, I have joint legal custody of my son. Thank you. So the second he crosses New York State border, he's legally mine.
Yeah, but that's as long as he crosses the state border.
Well, darling, if I was to produce the text message I got recently that I had my wife define for me, yeah, it looks like it may be sooner than that.
So you think that at some point Hunter's going to end up in New York with you?
Not with me. He's coming. According to my understanding of the last text message he sent me, he wants to test my chest.
Oh, really?
The what?
What every teenage boy wants to do with the father. They want to go up against him.
Right.
I guess it's a.
He wants to go toe to toe with you.
Yeah, he wants to go. He wants to square up, so to speak.
Right. That's disrespectful.
Where would he stay if he came to New York?
In a hotel, I guess.
He'd probably come straight to my house, try to fight me, and then wind up in Fulton County Correctional Facility.
Yeah.
Well, no disrespect or anything to my son. Don't get me wrong. I don't want him there. I don't want him in any type of legal problems. But I also have his two younger sisters here that don't need to see that either.
True.
So I'm not trying.
Well,
I'm not playing favorites here. I have to also protect the ones in my home as well.
I think he's just all air.
I think what he needs is, I think right now all he's doing is just blowing steam, and I already told plenty.
Right. I don't think he's going anywhere outside of Tennessee. I think he just right now is, I think he just right now, has got that young punk gangster mentality level that, that a lot of teenagers get, and it pretty much.
I look at it as brush it off the shoulder type thing. He's gonna say what he wants to say right now.
Right.
He should be blessed though. He should be he should be somewhat happy. Somewhat.
I hope that Hunter is smart enough to understand he is no match. He is no match to anyone that's been out there in the hood for a while.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He's no match. And all he's going to do is end up getting himself hurt. Don't ever be gun-ho. That only gets you hurt.
Exactly.
But being a kid, it's like they got this, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. But
yep, I did it when I was 18.
How many times was you locked up, Andrew, in your younger days?
Now, you want to count it all together in one, or you just want me to
just... We ain't got all night, Pam.
Okay, you got a son that's coming of
Okay,
age.
6 years. 6 years altogether. All my jail time added up 6 years altogether.
Yeah, that's
How
a
many?
lot.
60?
6.
No, 6.
Oh, 6 years. Okay.
You
Yep.
know, that's a lot. And Andrew knows how valuable those 6 years were. You know, now he might not have knew then, but he definitely knows now, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and he's just trying to save Hunter from having that kind of time wasted. You know, he's just trying to save his son. Listen, Pam, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight because, you know, it's been, boy, it's really been a lot tonight, right? It's been a lot tonight.
It's been from my understanding.
And you
Let
know,
me answer this one question. No, I did not. Okay, it says Pam and Andrew. Did you know each other before Summerwell's case? No.
No.
I
And
did not know Andrew. Now, when he opened up his channel, I was on his channel when he first came in. Right, Andrew?
yep.
And he gave me a wrench, and I told him to take it because I didn't want to be anybody's mod. Right, Andrew?
Yes, ma'am.
hold
Okay.
on, wait a minute. How about when you and Andrew went to jail together?
Huh?
I'm just kidding, Pam. I'm kidding.
Oh, and
Oh, you said, wait a minute. Nope, I ain't been in jail.
no, I don't know when alley services are. And to answer everybody's question, well, a certain one person's question in chat, real quick. That's counting from the time I was 16 all the way up till now. Oh my God, this cat tonight.
Andrew,
Stop.
my condolences to you because I know how you cared about Allie. I mean, you guys had your issues, but you know, you guys were really close, and
Her heart's
you
still
know,
beating.
and our condolences to you know to you on
Here,
that.
PP.
And do you think that they will be mean enough to not let you know about everything going on? I hope not. I hope not. I hope they have the respect for you to at least inform you about everything that's going on. You know, that's going to be a regret in their life later if
Oh,
they don't.
but no, her heart's still beating, just not within her body.
Right.
No,
Well,
like dead ass. Her heart was Her heart was set up for transplant the same night she passed.
oh, that's horrible.
That's why it was pulled the day it was and not the day before.
Right.
So
And they probably donated other things as well
yep.
out to people.
But the major part of it is her heart still beating. May not be with
Right.
her body, but it's still beating.
Amen. Amen.
All right,
Um,
I'm out of here, guys. God bless everybody.
okay. Yeah, I appreciate you coming up,
Not a
Pam.
problem.
God bless. God bless. I appreciate you being here too, Andrew. Lisa. You know, there's a lot in this case. There's a lot, you know, of detail here, and you know, um, I appreciate Lisa giving a lot of insight on, you know, who the Wells are, how they are, what they are. I think that that's something that, you know, we all out here really need to understand when it comes to Summer's case. You know, we have to understand the characters that we are dealing with. And, you know, and Lisa is a great character witness when it comes, you know, to the Wells. So I really appreciated her coming up, sharing, you know, the information, the insight, and everything upon these people. Um, and you know, there's just a lot in this case, and we'll be back, God willing. God willing, we'll be back here tomorrow to take up where we've left off tonight. You know, it has been a lot tonight, a lot of people I see is going to have to go back and catch up on the live and so forth. But I appreciate each and every person that was here tonight supporting Summer, on the panel, in the chat, just overall. There's like I always say, there cannot be enough voices for the voiceless. There cannot be enough voices for the voiceless. And Summer, wherever she is, whether she be with us or not, wherever she is, trust she wants to be found. Trust she wants her story told. Trust she wants her brothers to find closure. And she wants justice served against the evil humans that have caused all of this to go down in her life, right? Absolutely. Summer was an angel. I believe she was truly an angel sent to earth to, not to save herself, but to save her brothers from the terrible abuse that they were in and had been enduring. And to the point that, these boys asked, could they see the judge? And if they couldn't see him, could they please write a letter letting him know they do not want to return to 110 Ben Hill? So, it had to be pretty excruciating if you got children going through all of that, not to return. So, let us continue to diligently work for Summer and to find out exactly what possibly has happened to this baby so that she can get found, she can get help or laid to rest properly if she's no longer with us, and her brothers can get the closure I know she is seeking for them, and and the justice that she deserves against the people who done such a heinous thing to her. So God bless. God bless. Much love to everyone that is here for all the right reasons. God bless. Lisa, I really do appreciate you coming up, girl, and hopefully you can rejoin us tomorrow night.
Yep.
I appreciate it. And we're gonna head out of here. And as we head out of here, I asked every night, please, please, please pray for Summer. Please keep the prayers going up for this little girl. I know that God's listening. There's so much more coming to light, and I know God is bringing it out little by little. Maybe that's the only way some people will be able to handle everything, is the way God's doing it. I don't question God, because I know our way ain't the right way. His is. God's way is the right way, and I don't question him. However he pulls it to the light, that's what we're going to go with. And I appreciate that. Hey, Gracie, I appreciate that, sweetheart. God bless. God bless. I appreciate your help with Summer's channel. I really do. God bless. And, so please keep those prayers going up for this baby. And from your lips to God's ears, trust and believe through Jesus Christ, God is hearing them. God hears our prayers. Trust and believe that. And, it don't take anything to pray. Just fold your hands, bow your head, and just let God know that you're praying for this little girl to be found, brought home, and justice served. And if God can just make it all happen, how grateful we will be, in the name of his son, Jesus Christ. Amen. And I tell you, pray for one another. There is so many people needing prayer. So many. I know Sweet Norway, Beautiful Sunflower. There is so many people going through so much. There is a lot of other people right here in the chat going through so much. I know that, Christine can use prayers. I know that Miss Daisy could use prayers. Let us pray that Daisy and Jinkies, whatever their issues are, families shouldn't have issues like that. So, you know, I truly pray that they can come together and, you know, come together as one, the way they should be, you know, the way they should be as family. Um, like I said, we learned with Allie that life, you know, we're not promised another day, folks. We're not promised another day. We've learned how fast you could be gone in this world, right? How fast someone can be gone. Treat each other with kindness, love, and caring. The hatred, man's got to stop, because all it's going to do is make you regret not being nice. So just be nice to begin with, and there'll be no regrets. That's what I have to say. But know that PG's always praying for you guys. I don't know what you need, I don't know what you want, but I know God does. And I pray He answers all of our prayers in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Good night, everybody. God bless. Much love.